Thanks, sir.
Respected Professor Pandey sir, Director ISM Patna, Professor Sanyal sir, Professor Udgata ji, I happened to meet in different CSI events at CSI, in recent CSI annual convention last year we met. Then respected learned researchers, those who are present in this session for with their work. Shri Mishra ji, I'm really thankful to ISM Patna for providing this opportunity to speak at this elite gathering of wonderful speakers and researchers. The theme of this session, which is dedicated to information technology, we all know that information technology, which used to be considered as a specialized stream about 10 months back, and people from information technology used to drive the kind of facilities and infrastructure what we are using today is no more an USP for people from information technology. Now, especially these last 10 months, they have made sure that everyone, even those who used to keep distant from information technology or these tools, even they were forced in a situation where they had to shift from conventional platform to exploit these new facilities, new infrastructure. And we all suddenly, I'm sure that academic institutions were the most affected vertical in during this pandemic, because migrating from one conventional platform where we all are used to be in classroom, having personal touch with the students, while interaction, we understand also. We had that practice of understanding that how students are taking all these discussion in the classroom, and then of course take precautionary measures and appropriate step to make sure that whatever we used to discuss inside the classroom or during our interaction, it is perceived in right spirit by everyone. But these last 10 months have proved that the technology today is still evolving at a rapid pace and enabling faster change and progress. So credit goes to technology, which had made sure that in spite of entire countrywide lockdown during last 8 to 9 months, when it started in the month of March, precisely on 22nd March, things were kept going. Of course, there may be debate that how much effective things would have been, but of course, this was ensured that things do not stop anywhere. So a lot of credit for this technology transformation goes to COVID-19 too. As we all know that as technological breakthroughs rapidly shift the frontier between the work tasks performed by humans and those performed by machines and algorithms, global labor markets are undergoing major transformation. And these transformations, if managed wisely, could lead to a new age of good work, good job, and improved quality of life for everyone. But if managed poorly, poses the risk of widening skill gaps, greater inequality, and broader popularization. I would like to refer here, as Professor Udgata sir, he in fact in his talk, he precisely brought out the technologies which are now expected to dictate the entire industry, irrespective of vertical, irrespective of domain, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is pharmaceutical, whether it is retailing, whatever sector or vertical we take, everywhere technology is taking its place and replacing the conventional processes, the conventional systems. And how it is happening? In 2018, there was, during this World Economic Forum 2018 meet, a research report was presented there. And that objective of that research, the title of that research work was Future Jobs. And during that discussion, a research report was presented, and that research report was it was around 150-page report, and precisely they summarized entire discussion, the crux of that research in 12 points. I will not go into those 12 points because we have limited time here. Lots of interesting discussions are expected to take place here. But what they suggested, that they suggested that they are in that report, they came out with an observation that 4 specific technological advancements are going to be the driver of change for the industry. What they say, as the fourth industrial revolution unfolds, companies are seeking to harness new and emerging technologies to reach higher levels of efficiency of production and consumption, expand new markets, and compete on new products for a global consumer-based composed, increasingly of digital native. Now, what they say, that these 4 specific technologies, number 1, that ubiquitous high-speed mobile internet. The next is what was discussed by Professor Rugata, the artificial intelligence and machine learning. Then widespread adoption of big data analytics, because when AI and machine learning systems are getting implemented, they are creating huge volume of data. And even now we saw the growth of data, from data to databases, from then data warehouse, then it goes to big data. And now people have started realizing that even after big data, the clouds which are hosting all these things, even they may not be able to accommodate this entire system. And people have started already looking for something new, which we call edge computing. So this big data analytics is something. This is considered to be the third specific technology advancement. And then fourth, of course, cloud computing, which is subsequently expected to be integrated with edge. And they are flanked by a range of socio-economic trends then. That report says that during 2018 to 2022, as drivers are positively affecting the business growth. So these 4 technologies are going to dominate there. Then, of course, this report goes on, and it talks about 11 different points. But the one point which I wanted to especially mention here, that what they say, there is a myth that once this AI and machine learning and its application like RPA, robotic process automation, if all these 3 are implemented in industry, in real estate, so there is a myth, and people are really scary of that there are going to be huge loss of jobs. But during that, in this report, that Accenture, one of the global consulting company, they come up with a research report, and what they have suggested, that of course during next 4 to 5 years time, the implementation of new technologies are expected to take wide coverage. And because of this, what will happen around the jobs are with the implementation of AI and machine learning, the jobs are not going to reduce, but it is predicted that jobs are going to be increased by 13% every year till 2024. Now, on one side, there's a huge contradiction we see. The people say that implementation of AI and machine learning will reduce the job. There will be a huge job loss. But on contrary to this, that Accenture report says that the jobs are going to be increased by 13%. And not only this, they are also saying that even revenue is going to be increased by something $4.2 billion over and above the existing businesses. So it shows that the jobs are not going to be eliminated, but of course, what they have predicted that during next 3 to 4 years time, there are going to be new kind of skills would be required. And people would be required to reskill or upskill themselves. And those skills are different in nature, because organizations are going to adopt new technologies, new systems are going to be in place, new processes will be placed. This business process re-engineering is going to change the entire conventional system. Mostly, I will not say that it will replace, but of course, this is going to be implemented. So with new technology adoption, with new processes in place, with new system in place, with new concepts which are going to be adopted, people would be required to upskill and reskill themselves. And this is where the challenge starts. Now, what they have done, they have identified that very categorically they have said that the kind of skills are required, there would be around 42% people, those who would be required at 4 to 6 months training to raise skill or upskill themselves. So by after training of around 6 months training, they would be able to retain their job if they are willing to upgrade themselves. Of course, if they don't will, they are not willing, then they may not find a place in the industry. And this is what the biggest challenge is going to be. Then they have also identified there around there would be what is precisely said that by 2020, no less than 54% of all employees will require significant and upskilling on different technologies. I mean, 54% people would be in some or other way would be required to learn something new, understand something new. So these 54% people, if they do not reskill, if they do not upskill, of course, they will be in trouble. What they say that out of these 54%, the 35% are expected to require additional training of up to 6 months to ensure that they acquire required skills. Further, it says that 9% of these 54%, those who need to be reskilled, 9% would be required reskilling of 6 to 12 months training. And 10% will require additional skill training for more than a year. Now, these are not merely statistics. This is what is setting the trend for the future. And as a person from business, we have to foresee what kind of changes, what kind of new things are coming, and how businesses are responding to it. The more amount of adoption of technology, business process re-engineering, new systems are in place, more people would be required to be reskilled. And if we do not foresee today, it is going to create a challenge for those who will not think on these lines. It was well supplemented by in latter part of the year where NASSCOM, they came up with a research report where they have almost on similar line, they have predicted that in next 4 to 5 years, around 60% of existing workforce in industry would be required to upskill. And where they need to upskill, there are a number of research reports. I will not go into detail, but I will name the technologies which are expected to be used by industry and where reskilling is required. AI, of course, AI and machine learning, what Professor Udgata was talking about, this is on top. So AI is something which is very important, and AI market is expected by 2025 that AI market will go to $190 million. Now, if this is the use, AI systems are reaching over 57 billion in 2021. Now we can imagine that if by 2021, it is expected that AI global market will reach up to $57 billion. And by 2025, it is expected to grow up to $190 billion. Now, what kind of scope potential it has? We all can appreciate this. Likewise, robotic process automation, now especially manufacturing organization, pharmaceutical organization, and like these, they have started adopting RPA, robotic systems. They have started utilizing drone system now, especially during this COVID-19. The companies like Amazon and other leading companies, they started delivering their products through drones. Now, if these things are taking place, and this Forrester research estimates that RPA, robotic process automation, will threaten the livelihood of 230 million or more knowledge workers. Means implementation of this RPA will hit 9% of total workforce globally. That's where reskilling and upskilling are required. The edge computing. When we discuss at all IT platform, especially people talk about cloud computing. Now people have started realizing that as the quantity of data is increasing, now the industry has started realizing the shortcoming of cloud computing in some situation, and that's where edge computing is now started picking up. The quantum computing. Now, quantum computing, of course, this may sound very technical, and it is, but I will not go into the technical detail. But there are a number of research reports, and quantum computers are now a multitude time faster than regular computers. And huge brands like Splunk, Honeywell, Microsoft, Amazon, web services, Google, etc. Now they're involved in making innovation in the field of quantum computing. Now, if these big market players are involved into implementation of quantum computing, we should expect that a very high growth is expected in coming time. The revenue for the global quantum computing market are expected to grow and surpass $2.5 billion by 2029. Now, like virtual reality, augmented reality, this is nothing new. We all know what actually virtual reality is. And I was going through a research report where it was there that around 2000 in 2019 there were 40 million this AR and VR devices were sold, and the global AR and VR market is expected to grow by $209 billion by 2022. Now, if this is the volume on which these technologies are growing, we can imagine what kind of future we are expecting. The blockchain, the most talked about area is the blockchain nowadays, where almost most of the people think of blockchain technology in relation to cryptocurrencies, such as Bitcoin, blockchain, which offers security that is useful in many other ways. And in the simplest term, the blockchain can be described as data you can only add to. Because if you want to make any change, that change can't be done by an individual unless it is approved by all participants. So it makes it more secure. So blockchain, it's something which is now picking. Of course, in India, it is still not legalized, but IoT is an area now, especially in agriculture sector. The people have already started realizing this benefit. In India, of course, it is still in initial stage. But now even in India, at some places, on experimental basis, on research basis, now even irrigation, the farming, the entire process is integrated. And this is now by the sensor-based system that soil testing is done, what the humidity is, what is atmospheric pressure, and everything, whatever, how much water is required, how much pesticide is to be used. Everything it's sensed by the sensors. That sense data goes to this control center. From control center, based on these vital parameters, all the decisions are made. And then accordingly, if water is required in how much quantity, and then that machine starts, and exactly the quantity required, that water is pumped there. Likewise, when pesticides are to be distributed, the sensors, they observe, they decide, and then accordingly things. So the point is that now human intervention in all these things are expected, are objectively kept at minimum level, and things are to be controlled in a way where machines, they communicate among themselves, they take decision based on the algorithms. And of course, those algorithms based on observation, based on experience, they have that capability to improve themselves, that through machine learning and through other algorithms. And they take decisions. So that involvement of human being is not there. That increases the processing. In 4 change drivers, I mentioned that the ubiquitous mobile network is one of the most important driver for the change. The 5G, we all have started realizing it now, and only God knows where this development, this research is going to stop, because now after 5G, people have already started talking about next generation mobile computing. So this is something just about every telecom company is trying to capture a place, because this is something that mobile communication is something which is forming a backbone, and backbone for the communication. And this is, we are living in an era of connectivity, collaboration, and communication. And these 3 things are are enabled by the bandwidth, by the mobile network what we have. So a better network will always ease the communication, will increase the connectivity, and will create potential and opportunity for the collaboration. And all these three C's together will create something which will come as a challenge, and which we are witnessing today. The cybersecurity is the ninth stream. So with the increased adoption of technology, with the increased usage of technology, more and more people have been joining here, and this increased network is now becoming the lucrative uh, object for the people, those who have malified intention. So cybersecurity is something which is very important, and people with malified intentions, they are always in quest of finding some way to get into the network, to get into data, and to get into the system, in the processes, to exploit it. With uh, uh, and that's why the organizations, even organizations like Pentagon, they create bug bounty kind of program every year, where they invite people like all across the globe. They create a window of a few hours, and they challenge that you come down to the system, you try to hack it, and if you are able to hack it, you will be heavily rewarded, because objective of their this process, this bug bounty process, is to find out those loopholes, those shortcomings in the system, and and to plug into those, so that systems could be more secure. So these are 9 different technologies which in current context are uh, expected to lead the technology transformation, to transform the business processes. And I'm sure that I was going through the papers which are going to be presented in this session. Fortunately, I'm part of the session where almost all these areas are covered. Papers on neural network also. I could see the paper from cyber security too, from computer network, and I'm sure that blockchain is also there. The fog computing, it's something very interesting. Then greed. So all these 9 areas, what I was referring, all learned participants, those who are present here, my best wishes to you all, and thank you so much to the